let's dive right in.
You got it.
Welcome to the Hit Like a Girl podcast. This is HITea with Grace, where we spill the tea on HITea. I'm very excited to welcome my informaticist, pharmacist friend, Heidi Polek today. Hi, Heidi. Thanks for joining us.
Hi, Grace. Thanks for having me. I'm so honored.
Tell us all about yourself. What do you do? And tell us a little bit about your background.
You got it. So I am a pharmacist by trade. I've been a licensed pharmacist for over 30 years. So just extremely passionate about healthcare. And, you might want to know, how did I get into it? It was by fluke. I was in college. I actually wanted to be a lawyer, and I wasn't really enjoying the courses I was taking except for biology. And I thought to myself, oh, I'm going to be a biologist. I'm going to go out and do all this amazing research. And my mom was like, what? She's like, Heidi, you have this amazing family history of pharmacy. I can't believe I didn't think of it either. My grandfather owned a pharmacy in rural Pennsylvania. My grandma was a doctor in the same town. And my aunt and uncle, they owned a pharmacy kind of across the state, but also in Pennsylvania. So I used to go into pharmacies since I was a little kid. And it really, once I got into the program, it was just a natural fit. I can tell you, I have so much passion for pharmacy and helping patients. If you can't see it, you're crazy.
Yeah. So how long were you a pharmacist?
I've been a pharmacist for over 30 years. I spent the majority of my career, behind the bench, patient care each and every day. And I truly, truly love that. I mean, there's nothing more rewarding than helping someone in their family. I got to see people grow up. I met families who had no children. Then they had children. Then I was taking care of their children. I watched their children grow up. And, you're out in the community and you're standing in line at a store and someone sees you and they're like, you're my pharmacist. Like, it's just, I can't.
It's so funny to me because so often you hear about the primary care physician's relationship with their pharmacist, but truly the pharmacist has that with their patients, but truly pharmacists have that relationship with their patients. They're a huge part of the care circle,
We are the most accessible care provider in the world, really. Where else? You can't walk into your doctor's office and get an appointment right away. You can't walk into a dentist's office. You can walk into a pharmacy anytime, any day, and a pharmacist will be there to help you. And that is really what drives us. I loved it, but I had an opportunity to move out from behind the bench into a management role at a grocery chain in the Western New York area. And, I'm always about learning more stuff and more skills. Like, it's great to get in a comfort zone, but as people, as professional, you have to learn to grow. Boy, was I scared when I moved into that role. I didn't have much of a business background other than helping to make sure the pharmacy I worked in was running well. But to really learn about the inner workings of a business, that's important too, because, healthcare is a business. Everybody's got to be able to pay the bills. So you have to make sure you have that amazing fine balance between, making the money, but, always putting your patients first. So I loved that. So I did that for 8 years, and oh man, I learned a lot. I got to do some amazing stuff. I got to develop an immunization program for the grocery chain. I helped start their, medication therapy management program. And I think one of the coolest things I did, I'm so not afraid to go outside of my comfort zone. They asked me to help create a drug warehouse. And I was like, I don't know anything about that. But I did it because I'm not afraid to ask for help, right? I know when I'm kind of beyond my base of knowledge, but I know how to surround myself with great people. So I always encourage people, wherever you are, make sure you work with your coworkers, get to know who they are. Go to your finance department, find out what they do, because it's all interconnected, right? Everything that we do is for the common good. So I had friends in finance and purchasing and, the main grocery warehouse, and they really helped me. I did not do this project alone. It took a village to create this project. And, within 6 months, we were saving our grocery chain hundreds of thousands of dollars. So proud of that.
That is amazing to go from pharmacist into this new business role. You have so much courage. And I think our listeners will really learn from that alone. Be courageous, take that next step, and surround yourself with amazing people. So,
Yeah.
how did you make the shift into health IT?
Same thing. Never saw myself in a health IT role. Well, I had moved away from the grocery chain and into the pharma world, and spent a couple of years there. Once again, learning some new skills, and then I did unfortunately go through some downsizing, and no one ever wants to be in a position where they don't have steady work. So I just started doing some research, and I said, I want to do something different. And I came upon DrFirst, and when I learned what we were doing here, I was like, I have to be a part of that. So I just kept sending in applications and connected with the right people. And what I love about DrFirst is we don't look for an exact list of skills. You must do this, 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 and this. Like it's about who you are as a person. It's about how are you a visionary? Are you willing to, we say it a lot here, fail fast. Like you can't be afraid to put yourself out there. And so, DrFirst really took a chance on me, and I am so excited to be here. They put me in a project manager role. Like that was a role I'd never even played. I was like, I don't even know what that means. But instantly, was learning all about data transfer and how that works, all the inner workings of coding and stuff like that. And then I started once again, not afraid to learn. I didn't just stick in that role and focus on just that. I was like, what else do we do here at DrFirst? I started digging into all the other solutions we have around medication history and medication reconciliation, care collaboration, AI, and I'm like, just feed me all that knowledge. So yeah, that's what I just have learned, everything that we do here at DrFirst, and I'm not afraid to help out wherever I can. Even though it's not your expertise or your comfort zone, you can always add some value. And I once again challenge everyone, seek that out. Don't just stay in your comfort zone. You only get one chance at life, and you got to live and you got to learn.
So, I'm just sure they were so grateful to have your just experience as a pharmacist on staff to say, hey, these were my challenges to help inform some of the things that they're doing at DrFirst. So, tell us a little bit about what were your biggest challenges as a pharmacist? And do those challenges still exist today? What's being done to fix them?
My biggest challenge was always time. Unfortunately, there's never enough time in the day. And especially today, those challenges do absolutely still exist. And if anything, they've been amplified. The unfortunate fallout with COVID really put a lot of pressure on everyone, but especially anyone that provided healthcare. And as I stated earlier, pharmacists were the front line. People were just coming in droves to try to see pharmacists. But we had to close our doors in some instances. We couldn't let the patients into the actual pharmacy. So, people with drive-throughs, they were forcing all their patients through the drive-through. Other places were just locking the doors and only doing things on appointment only, and meeting people at the curb, and in doing telehealth. So that's the challenge, is having the time that you need to provide really that face-to-face care that we absolutely thrive to provide. So using technology, that's the best thing you can do. And I was just recently interviewed about that, about how pharmacies, what can they do? And I said, once again, embrace change. Every year you should take a step back, look at your business model, be honest with yourself. You might be doing something well, but can you do it better? Always read about what's going on in the industry, because no one likes to admit it, but there's always someone that is doing it better than you, but that's okay. Strive to be that person. So get technology. If you don't have it today, you need it. Stop phoning, stop faxing. There's more efficient ways to communicate. Use AI where you can and where it's appropriate. It will help you free up yourself and your staff, and you can spend that time with patients that you need. That's what it is. Time's a killer, and we've got to learn to manage it the best we can.
Yeah, that's really impactful. What do you think are the parts of the pharmacist workflow that need the most help?
Yeah, it's definitely the communication piece for sure. Once again, so much of healthcare still relies on phone and fax. Come on, in our normal everyday life, be honest. How many phone calls do you take today? Very few. We text. All of us text. That's how I text with my children. I don't talk to them a lot, which is really sad. I need to be better at that. But that's what they're comfortable doing. Know your audience. If your audience likes text messaging, put something into place where you can securely message. You can message with more people at a time than you can with a phone call. You can only have so many phones on your ear at once. And use, AI where you can. There is software out there that can take away some of that manual reading and transcribing of things. You don't need to stand behind a computer screen when there is technology that can fill in some of that for you. You're still going to, validate it and make sure it's correct, but we just need to improve our workflow efficiencies. And that's what it is. It's the standing behind the computer and the wasting of time on phone and fax calls, phone and faxing. We need to get beyond that if we want to succeed.
Mhm. What do you think keeps pharmacists that aren't using these technologies from using them? What do you think kind of keeps them from moving forward with having them as a part of their daily life and workflow?
I think like most people, it's the comfort. I've talked about it, so many times already. We get in our comfort zone. It's kind of that adage, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. That's a bad adage to follow in life. I mean, we're always changing thing in our personal lives. We all have phones. Those phones work today. But ooh, I got to go get that iPhone 13 or that new Google phone, right? I got to get the latest technology in my personal life. My car's got to be the best car, the newest car, even though that, 2016 model still works. I want the 2022. We should do the same in our business life. It might be working well, but once again, it can always be done better. Stay on top of technology that's out there. We do it in our personal lives. You need to do it in your professional life. And don't be afraid of change. Talk to the people that work with you, because everybody will have a different thing that they're afraid of in the change. What impacts me as the pharmacist is very different than my technician or my delivery driver. So, meet as a group, discuss it as a team. This is a team effort. This isn't something where I'm the owner, I'm just going to do it, right? Listen to me and do it. It's a team effort. That's how you really have a successful pharmacy, is just working as a team.
Do you think the next generation of pharmacists that are coming into the world now and are starting to take over some business things, do you think that they're expecting this technology? Do you think they have that level of consumerism that they expect from technology, or do you think that's still something in the future that we're working towards?
Oh, I absolutely see a plethora of young pharmacists today who are embracing technology more so than ever before. I love reading the stories. I go to conferences and I listen to their, they get up on a podium and they really tell us how they're doing it. And that was something that I always encouraged at my grocery chain. I always had a group of pharmacists who, when we instituted a change, they would run with it. And then the other ones that were scared wouldn't. So I got the ones that were doing well to stand up and say, show them it's okay, give them some best practices. So it's sharing of best practices. So once again, you need to read about these younger, new pharmacists that are coming out and doing this stuff. I'm seeing some amazing things in the world of community pharmacy today that I'm really proud of them, and I really applaud them for all that they're doing for patient care. They are changing the face of pharmacy patient care today.
That's amazing. Another topic we've been hearing a lot about in pharmacy and innovation is price transparency. How does tech play a role in managing medication adherence? And what's out there today to kind of achieve that, in relation to price transparency?
So we are seeing rules coming about which are going to mandate price transparency in the pharmacy space. And that really is needed because, yes, unfortunately, the cost of medications today, the use of a lot of high deductible plans is really putting the burden on the patient for very high out-of-pocket costs that unfortunately some people just can't afford. But there's technology out there that's right in pharmacy workflow that will help you understand what the patient is going to have to pay out of pocket. You should hopefully know this before the patient actually gets to the pharmacy, so that you can contact the prescriber immediately, for an alternative. There's also organizations out there that can help you find medication assistance programs for patients. There are quite a few organizations that offer financial assistance, pharma companies. These things aren't widely enough publicized, but even pharma companies, they have not only the cost savings cards, but free medication programs. So it's, once again, stay as educated as you can on these types of technologies and programs and put them in place as quickly as you can. And some pharmacies are going to all cash models too. They're cutting out some of the middlemen that are unfortunately increasing the price of care, and they're just going all cash. Sometimes, believe it or not, it's less expensive to pay the cash price than it is to run it through your insurance. That's wrong. We shouldn't. That's why you have insurance, right? To cover your stuff. So when the cost on insurance is higher than the cost for cash, that's a little bit of a broken system, or a lot of broken system. Hopefully going forward, that's going to be fixed. I know there's a lot of legislation in place on price transparency and lowering drug costs. Let's hope we can get that pushed through so we can truly help our patients.
Yes, in many ways, I feel like the pharmacist's role in that is like a community builder. They need to educate, they need to help connect. It's pretty wild, all the things that the pharmacist does in relation to price transparency and helping their patients afford medications, et cetera. I mean, it's pretty wild that their role has expanded so much from dispensing medication to all of this.
Yeah, it's I think it is a little bit of a misunderstanding of truly what the pharmacist does today. We are more than the people that put the pills in the bottle or the immunizations in your arms, because we are so accessible and we see our patients so many more times a year than an actual provider does. We're hearing a lot about social determinants of health today. Pharmacists can really have an impact on that. There are home issues, there's housing issues, there's education issues, transportation issues that people face. So it's the everyday, barriers that patients face every day that impact adherence. And pharmacists help with that. I don't think people realize what we're doing a lot of times in our off hours. We're trying to do it while we're doing the medications, but many pharmacists today, they will do this after hours. They will work to try to connect patients to social agencies that can help them, because if you can't get to the pharmacy or the medication can't get to you, you're not going to be adherent. If you can't afford it, you're not going to be adherent. If you have upheaval in where you live, it'll be hard to be adherent. So, there are a lot of things that pharmacists do today to improve adherence other than just give you a refill once a month.
That's amazing. And so true that you see the pharmacist when the kid has the ear infection, you see the pharmacist when you're refilling prescriptions, and you may see your primary care doctor once a year, and so especially as a mother, you're seeing the pharmacist so much more often than you would be seeing your own physician or whatever other physician. So they really have a critical role. Do you think that there is a day where insurances will start paying pharmacists for this kind of primary care, regular care that they're providing for the patients? Do you think there's a future where that could be?
Absolutely. It's actually here today in very limited spaces. The state of Ohio recognizes pharmacists as providers. There are actually payers who are working directly with pharmacies in the state of Ohio. Pharmacists are working on adherence programs, and they are demonstrating benefit. These patients are taking their medications, they're more adherent, outcomes are headed in a positive direction. Absolutely. What we need is national provider status so that we can bill for the services that we do provide over and above, once again, the pills in a bottle. We can do that a little bit in a roundabout way, but we need to do it directly. There's no, will we collaborate with the doctors? Of course. We're not saying we're going to do all of this on our own. It's a care team, but I shouldn't have to provide the service, then have someone else bill for the service, then send me the money. I should be able to bill for my service right there on the spot after the care has been provided. But it's coming. So it's already started. We just need a bigger national push. And there's lots of legislation in place for that too. So positive things in the future for pharmacy.
Amazing. The future is now. Now,
Yes.
what do you predict for the future of healthcare technology specifically in this pharmacy space? How is tech going to, play a different role in the future, thinking 10 years, 20 years down the road?
Well, with all the interoperability rules that are coming into place, that's really going to help pharmacies. So once again, stay on top of those rules. Understand when, information sharing barriers are down. Okay, they're still there, but we're knocking on that door, right? We're poking like a Jenga game. We're pulling some of the blocks out, and one of these days, very soon, those walls are going to fall down. Pay attention to that, and don't wait. Get prepared now. Start doing everything that you can, putting interoperability and medication information sharing technologies in place now, so that when the wall falls, you're ready to run. Okay, that's what I see helping pharmacy. When I have more clinical information at my hands, I can provide that care right away. I don't have to, call a doctor or message a doctor or send this over to me. Like, I'm going to have it at my fingertips. That's what I see helping pharmacy in the next few years: interoperability and the access to the patient, care information that you need to be the best pharmacist you can be.
That is fantastic and is a great future. So we're excited for that future to come. And thanks so much for all you're doing to make that future reality in this space. So I want to kind of switch over into a little bit more personal information about you. A little birdie told me that you are a second-degree black belt in Taekwondo. Wow. Tell me about that. You can actually hit like a girl.
I can get like a girl. Yeah. So, many years ago, before I got married, I was, I love to work out. I like to run. I like to go to the gym, but, sometimes you get comfortable, and sometimes comfortable gets, kind of boring. And I was just driving around my town. I lived in Buffalo, New York at the time. And I drove down this one street I hadn't really driven by. And I was like, Taekwondo. Wonder what that's all about. And the gentleman that ran the school, just had an amazing, inexpensive free trial program where you could kind of sign up for a month and try it out. And I'm not a natural athlete. My brothers got all of that. But when I got there, I was natural at it. I was like, wow, this is great. And I also thought too, it's got a lot of discipline and self-defense to it. And I thought, I'm a single woman. Wouldn't it be nice to have that self-defense technique? It would make me feel a lot safer. And I just fell in love with it. I practiced for 5 years. I actually even practiced through 2 pregnancies. Yeah. And, unfortunately, having, a husband, 2 kids, a full-time job, and the commitment I needed to do that, it was a really tough decision, to give that hobby up. It was really more than a hobby. It was kind of a lifestyle, but I really enjoyed it. We were able to transform so many people's lives. And, I take great joy in that, to know that you've helped someone gain confidence. Sometimes we would get young children, that lacked confidence and they were getting bullied, and, we were able to help them gain confidence. We were able to help people lose weight. We were able to, give that self-confidence that they knew that, they hopefully would never be in harm's way, but they could help protect themselves. But it was a really great experience.
That's amazing. Do you feel like I've heard a lot about martial arts and the impact it has on changing your neural pathways? And I'm interested to hear if you experienced that. You're talking a little bit about the empowerment and the safety. And did you feel like it had an impact on your mental health too?
Absolutely. Because we do all get frustrated with things. It's very zen when you get there. You're able to just release, through the techniques that you do. And it doesn't have anything to do with striking or hitting a person. It's the breathing, it's the flow. It's almost, look at the people that do Tai Chi and how zen they get. I definitely felt that it helped me mentally. And it just became second nature. I have not done, regular practice in a number of years, but I still feel like it's there, in the back of my brain that,
It's like you can access it at any time, whenever you want, but it's there. Yeah.
Yeah.
Very interesting. And having your body move in ways that you never might have ever before, and teaching your brain new ways that your body can move and do things is
Jumping
incredible.
and spinning and kicking. And, I was just like, I didn't know I could do that. And it really is an art. My instructors were all 5th, 6th degree black belts. It was an art to watch them. Like, you would just find yourself just zoning out because there's such a beauty to it. You have to remember where it came from. All martial arts came as a method for, people to protect themselves from overlords, and we're talking way back in, ancient times, but, where they couldn't, form, factions to help themselves. So they were using, the little hose and the rakes and the stuff that they would, use to, do their gardening and their farming. And it was a way as just to have personal protection that was actually hidden, from people. So it was just kind of neat to understand the origin of a martial art. I just think it's great. I think everybody should try it. I think it's a great activity for children and families. That was the great thing too. We had families come, moms, dads, and kids alike.
That's amazing. So, also kind of diving into you personally, what are things that you do now to help you work your best and make a difference, overcome challenges, and, kind of just be the best you that you can be to make all these impactful changes in pharmacy and in tech?
Well, one thing that I like to do, so I transitioned over to being a runner. I think it's important that you definitely have a good self-care program in place. The world is a rat race at times, and I think too many times we don't take enough time for ourselves. It's okay to have some me time. It shouldn't be all me time. That's not good either. So you have to find that fine balance. We hear it said a lot, work-life balance. So you definitely have to have a good work-life balance. Most companies that I've ever worked for, actually all of them, they're very respectful of our personal time, especially here at DrFirst. Very, very respectful. They understand family is important. So it's okay to turn off that work brain and focus on your family. And once again, be in that moment. As much as I work for a technology company and I love technology, sometimes you just have to put that technology down when it's time to spend time with your family. So live in the moment, have your me time. I go for a run, and I think people sometimes think I'm a little wonky because I'm talking to myself. Maybe they think I'm listening to music, at least that's what I hope. But I talk to myself and I talk things out. And, you just got to do that. Find something physical that can release the tension that you have, so that when you are with your family and your coworkers, you are the best that you can be.
That's amazing. I'm also a runner. I love to run. Do you do short distances, long distances? Do you do trails? Do you do road running or a treadmill?
I started out on the treadmill, but I want to say it's a little more middle distance. I am not a sprinter, so I'm not a big fan of 5Ks. I'll do them, but not 10Ks. I love half marathons, and I have run 5 marathons.
Wow, 5 marathons. Any marathon names that we would know?
I ran the Buffalo Marathon a couple of times. I ran the San Diego Marathon, which was a great way to see San Diego. And I think my favorite one was, it's actually an international marathon. I lived in Buffalo, New York. So the marathon started in Buffalo. We ran up and over the bridge into Canada, and we ended at the brink of the Niagara Falls Horseshoe Falls.
Oh, that is incredible. What a way to end a marathon. How did you find that?
Being in Buffalo, you go out, as you're
Wow.
searching a race calendar, it would come up, and I'm like, I got to run that. And it was in the fall. So what was really great about that is you trained in the heat of the summer, but the race itself was in the fall. So you got to see the beautiful fall leaves of the area. The only downfall is, if it ended up being a rainy day, it would typically be like 50 and rainy. So I ran a lot of long distance, training runs in the rain. I have a favorite memory of, I'm on a 20-mile run. I do road mostly. I'm running down the streets of my town, and it's pouring rain, and I'm soaking wet. And I hear a car horn beep, and I look over, and it's my husband waving at me. I was Thanks for not picking me up. There you go. I was
That's
so
incredible. So I'm wondering if you have any, final words you'd like to leave our audience, talking about, technology in pharmacy or any other thing you'd like to let our audience know before we go.
Once again, don't be afraid to step out of your comfort zone. As you live your life, you should always want to learn new things. You should never just be accepting of where you are today. We hear people say it a lot. You should really be better, today and tomorrow than you were yesterday. So strive for that. And, get outside of that comfort zone, learn new things. I mean, I went into just pharmacy. I never once envisioned, moving through the career that I did. And so maybe that's part of it too. I know some people, it's okay to have a plan. Everybody needs a plan, and I kind of have a plan, but it's not set in stone. Don't set yourself up for a disappointment of not achieving a goal by a certain day, or, life has to be fluid. You have to be able to adjust. So, be ready for a roller coaster ride and be okay with that. But, my husband says this a lot: dream it, then real life it. If it's something you really feel in your heart you want to do, go make it happen and find people who can help you make it happen. Don't try to do it on your own. There are so many people out there who want to help you. I love to join podcasts and listen to webinars of all the other amazing women out there in healthcare, IT, that have forged, pathways for us. Connect with them. These women want to help you, and even the men out there want to help you. I don't know of many people that want to just keep you down. So find a mentor, find someone who can help you. But, once again, dream it and real life it. Don't think, don't be that person going shoulda, coulda, woulda. You can do it. Everybody has the ability to make your dream come true.
That is so inspiring, Heidi. I feel inspired by that to be my best self. You are fantastic. Thank you. Where can our listeners find you online?
Well, you can find me on LinkedIn. I'm always on LinkedIn. I don't do a lot of other social media. It's just one of those things that, for a while I found I was spending, too much time on it. So I'm trying to focus and be in the moment, but you can always connect with me on LinkedIn. And if you want to reach me by email, you can catch me at hpolek@drfirst.com. I'm happy to connect with anybody. And it's actually been an honor. I've actually had people on LinkedIn, kind of follow some of the stuff I post, and they have reached out, and I have helped people. So it is a great passion of mine, to help people, get through, just break down that personal barrier of being afraid. No one wants to be afraid, but you've got to step out of that comfort zone. You've got to cry some tears, because when you finally achieve that goal, I can't explain how it feels. What kind of races have you run, Grace? What kind of running races?
I almost always do 5Ks, but that's because I usually have a stroller.
Oh, that's amazing.
I want to do more on that.
Yeah, I can tell you the first marathon I ran was, I never thought it would happen. We just kind of said in passing, a girlfriend of mine, oh, that looks like fun, because her husband had run one. And we were like, we should do it. Well, she signed up, and I was like, oh boy, I have to sign up now. And I did it. I can tell you, finishing that race, I fell into my mom's arms and started crying. Once again, you go through pain and you go through tears, but when you finally accomplish a goal, it is so rewarding personally. Just do it, cry those tears, feel that pain, because the joy will come, right?
I can only imagine. That sounds awesome. And when I do my first marathon, I'm going to send you a little picture afterwards.
Yes.
So before I forget, did you happen to bring your tea with you today? Oh, I love it. Tell me about the mug.
This was a mug, a Christmas gift from my children. They know I drink a lot of coffee, and I just love to have family things like this. So I have a lot of pictures. So there's pictures of our dogs and some pictures of my children, and a beautiful family picture. This is one of my favorites. We were at a baseball game right after our youngest son graduated from high school. And on the back, it says, "You are the best, Mom." I hope everyone can see that. So I drink out of this.
They made that for you, and they picked the pictures and everything and put it on?
They did.
Oh, my heart. That is so special. So special. And just, it shows you how important family is and how much they treasure you and you putting them first. And that's just so amazingly special. What a great gift. Thank you for sharing that with us today.
You're welcome. Yep, it's my
And
everyday mug.
oh, I love it. And thank you so much for joining us. We've just had such a great time with you today.
Thank you. Thanks again, Grace. Love what you're doing. And so go out there, ladies, and hit like a girl.
Thanks for joining us, folks. This is the Hit Like a Girl podcast. Check out our website and YouTube page for more esteemed interviews just like Heidi. Have a great day and cheers.